So now we're going to look at something we call the musculo-tendinous system. The musculo-tendinous system, remember, is 8 extraordinary meridians, the chakra system, and the musculo-tendinous system. Now, the musculo-tendinous system, remember, we have the big power lines, and then we have the system that brings it from the power lines to your house. Now, the main thing the musculo-tendinous system does, it makes all the energetic connection. Just like all the power lines might have to go through certain cities, they go through certain transformers before they end up getting to your house. So that's the same thing that happens to the musculo-tendinous, but all these interconnections are actually connecting a lot of the organs. So let's take a kind of a look on how that works. Now, there's no saying that you will die of something that starts out on joint pain. Now, what it means by that is in the formation of the musculo-tendinous meridians, which later forms traditional acupuncture meridians, all of them start from the 8 extraordinary meridians. Now, all the points on the 8 extraordinary meridians are there at very specific and precise places, and it's not by accident. I'm not going to really get into all the morphic fields contribution and how they interact with all your genetics. That's a whole different lecture. I just want to preface that's how it works, but not explain to you. But what happens is the end product is all these 8 extraordinary, all these 38 points of the 8 extraordinary meridians are planted out. And these two visuals that you have is the video is where all the 8 extra points are. Here's the anterior, the front, and here's the back. But I want you to notice that it's a collaboration. It's like the blueprint that the musculo-tendinous uses. All these big power points, they start here, then they develop into the musculo-tendinous meridians. Like, take a look at this visual. If you notice all these points on the right, stomach 3, stomach 5, stomach 9, all those are part of the 8 extraordinary meridians. And then if you follow the lines real quickly, you'll see how all of them go through different stages. This is the energetic connection. This is why if you place a digital, if you stimulate something in a very specific and precise place in time, it brings about a very specific and precise neurological energetic reaction. And it's not by accident. It's actually by design. If you study the system, you know exactly when and where to stimulate for what particular reason. So this is just one of the energetic connections. This is a synthesis of 3 or 4 books and literature that I went ahead and consolidated to make sense of it from the acukinesiology through the spine point of view. And also, if you look at this next visual, it kind of tells you this is the treatment modality that you learn once you go ahead and if you go ahead and study acukinesiology. But here's another visual, which is, again, it tells you this is not as elaborate, but once again, this is from the lower body. This is almost like the traditional Chinese acupuncture, but at very specific and precise places, it branches off and makes the energetic connection. Here's the last one we're going to show you. This is a very elaborate. This is your heart. You know, the heart is so important to your well-being from not only physical, but from the emotional and the spiritual points of view. And you can look at this and you can see how it is elaborately connected energetically to so much of your body. How it's like, they call it the spiritual brain. You know, there's so much written about what the heart is all about on the emotional, on the spiritual, and on the physical component. So there's no saying you'll die of something that starts out on joint pain, because in an early stage, everything, all the stagnation, all the fuse blowing only affects muscles and ligaments and sometimes organs. In most cases, you don't even notice it, or it's a mild joint pain. But guess what? It goes away. However, if the condition is allowed to go untreated, the body will compensate out of pain into weakness. Then it will compensate out of pain into weakness. I call it the drop in the bucket syndrome. That is why, how many times when you get to 40 years old, something goes bad and it stays with you? Well, what you have to do, instead of just taking something to eliminate the pain, why don't you empty the bucket? Why don't you give your body more room to compensate? Therefore, if you keep lowering the bucket and lowering the bucket, you have more room to compensate. So all those pains that you get after 40, you really don't have to, because all you have to do is fix the energetic system. This is totally related to the biomechanics. That's all in the literature, so that you can go on and be very, very active without causing degenerative arthritis down the road. And also, you'll find out that it's very, very related to very specific extremities and areas of the spine.